We are currently working with IGT to develop a table for their Game Ace platform. And what this table is, it's an electronic table game. What's really interesting is it's one dealer playing two different games at the same time and then allowing more than 7 people to participate at each table, which is like the industry standard. We had a previous generation product, it's called a Dynasty table, that they had created to kind of go off of like a boilerplate. Like, here is what we have currently, and we need to make this better. Once we started developing that, then it became much easier to show the client what you're talking about rather than a napkin sketch. Yeah, we're here all day.
But yeah.
Yeah, we're here. No, we're here. We're over here at the fab shop. Yeah. Yeah, come over and see us. Okay, bye. That was Janet. That's the boss lady. She's coming to see us.
So there's a square plate on top that's smaller than the square plate on bottom that has another round tube that now is able to twist in the opposite direction. So I have this one mounted here, and then this one mounted here, and I'm able to twist it. It's got a set screw, and then you have a flat, like aerodynamic looking wing that's off of it.
Is it curved or is that flat?
We can decide. I'm open to either. There's so much curve everywhere else, and that's why I really rely on you, because it needs to match the rest of your design. What I'm really looking for is that if a dealer is standing behind the table, I don't want to cut off their face too much. You know?
So what was that R&D process like from your vantage point to really get into this table?
Figuring out how it goes together. I mean, that was the biggest thing. You can draw the picture, but how does all the components bolt together? How does it all go together? How does it break down into each piece, each component for each part? It was a big overtake, you know, it was a big thing. But I really, you know, I spent a lot of time in CAD doing it, but really when I got into just starting to use the plasma cutter and actually start cutting and making it, that's when it really came to life for me.
So she gives you this, she comes in, your glorious, fabulous self. She gives you this, she shows you her ideas, and then she leaves it up to you to figure it out. And it's a beautiful concept. Yeah. I love it.
You know, their initial design that we started with was, you know, their very first creation and what they did, and it's very large in size, it's very heavy, it's hard to install, it's hard to maneuver, it's hard to maintain. You know, we streamlined it, made it lighter, made it easier to install, made it easier to move, made it easier to build. And so all those things we really took into play and try to take an existing product and really just take it to another level. One of the most challenging parts of the builds, and there was many of them, but the equipment that's involved, that's going to live in this gaming table, is very proprietary. A lot of this stuff hasn't even been developed yet. It's in developing stages currently. It's very hard to build a car if I don't have like the engine and transmission to put in the car. Hence, you know, we built like 3 prototypes of this thing before we actually built one that was like, this is the one, right? So you see what's going to go in the drawers, what's going to go in the center section. This guy's going to go in the center section now. It's going to be a little bit larger. So we kind of got a game plan now. Once it gets painted and assembled, we can start putting all this equipment in there and cabling it. We made the wood tops today, so we can get those felted. Have Danny upholster them in the morning.
Add 2 light sander first, then we're gonna add an 8-inch of Landau foam, and then sand the edges, and then wrap it in the material. This is gonna be the final step. We're gonna wrap it in this felt. We're gonna staple it on the back side. Yeah, we're not using glue because in case they want to replace it, it's going to be easy to replace it with the staples.
figuring out the last of the parts that are needed to finish, which is the front door right here. This is the front door. I just got to make some final measurement changes for the front door. These are going to be some side panels here that finish off that center section. I do some final measurements on that. So just a few little pieces left to cut, and we'll be ready to paint tonight. There was a few prototypes that were built at the very beginning, and we did those here in-house at our shop with our tools and our equipment. Once they signed off on the final, due to our time constraints, we found that the best course of action would be to actually go over there and work with their people in their facility using their tools, equipment. I didn't know really what to expect going in there. You know, I feel like we're like the outside guys coming in here kind of stepping all over the place, but honestly we were very, very well received. Their staff over there is exceptional. We were able to expedite the entire process and come to an end product that everybody was happy with.
I am Kevin Parker. I'm the director of electronic table games for IGT, one of the biggest gaming companies in the world. We needed a new dealer's table, but I didn't want the same sort of dealer tables that we've seen in the past. We really wanted somebody outside of gaming to help us with the design, and who better than an industrial artist. I've worked in gaming for 28 years and in design and development for a good portion of that. And I have never worked with an outside team that was more smooth and was more intuitive than Jamie and Misha. If we didn't have the big wheel project going right now, this would absolutely be the star of the show. Second place in a global gaming conference. That's not half bad.
I'm not a gambler, man. I kind of stay out of those places, and I just kind of stay focused on my stuff over here. So to kind of get involved with that, which is something that my hometown has just been based on forever, I think it's super cool. You know, I think it's super cool to kind of get called out of your normal duty and get, you know, invested. And I feel blessed to be at a point in my life after 20 years of grinding on cars, like still cool stuff is happening, man. Like, and I hope that IGT, this is a successful project for them, right? I hope that they go on and do wonderful things with this, and it creates wonderful more opportunities for them. You know?